Hey there, this is Catherine Cartwright. Welcome and Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2023 and I'm going to jump right in. I have a stamp set. I'm pulling out some older stuff. I'm trying to begin the new year by shopping my stash. I wanted to begin working on some Valentine cards and I had an idea for this one and I needed to alter the stamp a little bit. So I'm just stamping out these strawberries. These are from Stamps of Life. I've had this set forever. It's an older set for sure, but it's one of my favorites. I love strawberry stamps and I like the size of these. They have some patterns. You can also add a border on the outside if you want to. I'm just going to leave mine plain and then die cut around it. And then I'm going to work on stamping the tops. So I'm using strawberry ink here. I am using my stamp positioner just because it gives me great coverage and I can get it as dark and as solid as I want without having to start over again. I've mentioned that in previous videos. I never used to use my stamp positioner and then I realized I was making so many mistakes. I'd have to do them over and over again. And when I was a beginning stamper, I didn't mind, but now that I've been stamping a long time, it bothers me because of time. You know, at that time when I did it a long time ago, I didn't have children and life was not quite as busy. So now I use it to be a little more efficient. So I'm just showing you here that you can add that outer border. I think this stamp set had 2 stamps, like a solid one. So this is where I wanted to alter my strawberries. So I had some brown paper lying around that had some adhesive on the back, and I wanted to turn these into chocolate covered strawberries or chocolate dipped strawberries. So this is what I was going for. So I took this brown paper, I went ahead and die cut the outer layer of the strawberry, the one I used to cut the strawberries initially, and then I'm going to layer this onto my piece. Again, this had adhesive on it. You could always do it without adhesive and just use your glue. So I'm going to make a bunch of these and then I want to put together some cards. So I'm just kind of sharing how I altered this stamp so that I could use it for a different purpose. And so I'm just loving the way that that is coming together. I'm just having to erase a little bit of pencil marks on my paper on some of these. And then I'm going to add the top of my strawberry here. And my glue, just getting that going. It's been cold in my craft room, so I got to kind of get it warmed back up. I live in a very humid climate, and so it does affect my glue because sometimes it can be very humid, and then sometimes the humidity drops out as well. So it's kind of crazy for my craft projects sometimes. So I'm just getting that on there. I love the patterns too on these strawberries. So you could use any strawberry set you may have if you wanted to turn them into chocolate covered strawberries. So that is what I was going for. And I'm going to create several easy cards. I'm going to do one on camera and then I'll show you my completed ones. And here's another one that I'm working on as well. And I'm not thinking hard at all about how the dipped strawberry looks. It's just when I usually make them myself, they're never really uniform on the occasions that I make them. So I don't mind them looking very organic. So I pulled out this grid, I think it's called a grid die, also from Stamps of Life out of my stash. It is definitely an old one, but a fun one that you may have if you're a Stamps of Life fan. So I've just gone ahead and cut this out of patterned paper. I've got this Sweetheart paper, which I've had forever as well. Again, totally stashed, starting off the year stash shopping. And then there's also included a layer to cut the rectangle, I should say, for my card base, to put onto my card base. And I was just showing you that paper pad. It's called Sweetheart. I know it's probably not available, so you could use anything with these tones, these colors. I'm sure if you've been crafting a while, you might have some Valentine paper that you could use or something with some hearts, things like that. Okay, so let me glue this down and I'm going to save all those little pieces that come out of the die cut don't throw those away. You can always reuse those if you don't use them up. And you may be hearing a little bird tweeting. I'm not sure. It's in the morning where I am, and the birds outside are very active right now because it's kind of early. So if you hear anything like little tweeting, just know that it's my little friendly birds visiting me this morning. We've had some goldfinches in town, which just thrill me, excite me. We get them only every few years, and they appear sometimes, so it could be my little goldfinches out there saying hello. Okay. Sorry. So I'm back to putting this paper in there. I've just laid this out, the pattern that I want. I'm kind of alternating my squares, my rectangles, I guess, with the little curve on them. And I love the little center that there is in this die set as some circles. So you could just layer something on there and then put that back together however you wanted to. You could stamp in the middle. I'm not going to stamp in the middle. I'm going to add one of my strawberries. And here's this last one that I'm going to use. And I love having the double-sided paper because you just have even more variety. I've been waiting for Michael's to get some Valentine's paper, but I have not seen any in store. I stopped by the other day and they looked pretty bare from the holidays. Maybe some stuff coming in, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, because I'd love to make a video with that stuff. I always love using their holiday, Valentine stuff. I almost said Halloween. Their Valentine stuff to create a bunch of Valentine cards. But I wanted to go ahead and get started this year, so I chose this stamp set. All right, here's one more of those little chocolate dipped parts that I'm making. I had a little pencil mark there, and so I'm just going to erase that off, and I will be able to add this to the strawberry. I chose the solid one on this one just because it really popped off the page, but I'll use those other ones on some other cards. Just love the strawberries. I love that set. It's really one of my favorites that I'll never get rid of because I just love the size of it, and there's so much variety. There are these little tiny strawberries in there as well, but they don't have a die, so I don't use them as much because I don't like to hand cut. But you could stamp those if you wanted to, and then use like your scan and cut if you had that to cut out some of the little strawberries, and I might do that. Or you could use it to create a background. It'd be great to create a background with those small stamps, using those small stamps up. So I'm just measuring this to see what size that card is, and then I've got my other card base down there below, just making sure. And then I will add this to that cardstock. And that is bubblegum. I think I used bubblegum and strawberry in this. Candy is another color, if you're familiar with Stamps of Life, that is included in this paper pad. But I don't know if I end up using it in there. And here is that paper pad again. So I'm just going through looking for some paper. And I saw this Happy Valentine's ticket paper, and so I am going to use that to create my sentiment. I didn't have a Happy Valentine's that I just loved for this specific card, the way this card turned out. So I started looking through the paper and saw this and thought it would be a great little sentiment. So I'm just going to trim that down, and then I'll kind of round out those edges. I think there was a stamp set that has the tickets in there that I probably still have somewhere. I don't know if Valentine's Day is in there. I didn't look. But anyway, I'm just going to use this paper and use this to make a quick and simple card with it. And it all coordinates together, making it a lot easier. All right, love the way that looks, that little pop of color off of the page, the contrast. And then I'll just use my foam dimensionals here to pop that up. And there is a very quick but fun Valentine's card. You know, I'm a stamper at heart, so I still love to stamp. I know die cutting is really a big rage right now, you know, just having cards made of die cuts, but I still love to stamp. I'm really traditional with my stamping. Loving that. All right, here's some more cards. I just used more of those papers from that paper pad, and then I used some of the solid cardstock to cut my borders. And then I'm showing you those little saved pieces. I'll put those back into the envelope where this grid die lives. And then when I want to make some more, I can. But that's 5 right there that I made. Just, taking some time stamping that sheet and a paper with some strawberries and then cutting them out. So I hope you enjoyed this idea. Be sure to think about using your stamps differently. If you've got a stamp set that doesn't have what you want, be sure to think about using it in another way. And thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.